I was 13 when I first started feeling low.
I was 15.
13.
I was 16 when I was diagnosed.
How can I put it? I guess it's like ivy. You can cut it at any point, but eventually it just starts to grow again.
You don't know when you're going to start feeling low. It can happen any time during the day, and the hardest thing is trying to keep going.
It's like being in a glass box. Like, it's like it blocks out all the positive aspects and only lets in the negative aspects.
You feel like there's nothing that can help.
I didn't really know what was going on. I felt down all the time and I couldn't really shake the feeling.
It's like a roller coaster. Like, one minute you can be in the best mood and then the next you can just be at your lowest.
I would say that I've been depressed enough to see why people would consider suicide.
There's this feeling among men and young boys that if you speak about mental illness, like, it can be shown as a weakness or, well, you know. And people, you can get ripped just for saying this. I mean, but it's most likely that the person you're speaking to either hasn't gone through mental illness and cannot relate to your situation, or they've got issues that they're just trying to cover up.
Being silent doesn't mean you're strong all the time. Sometimes being strong is actually accepting your problems and finding a way to deal with them, whether that be counselling, stuff like that, and sort of convincing others that, like, that's the best option for you.
I think that by talking about it and being more open about it, we can normalise it and make it okay to talk about it.
It's a lot to live with, a lot to deal with. I mean, the best thing I can say is just to get up every morning and keep going. It's never easy, but eventually it stops being so hard.
'Cause all I see are yellow lights, yellow lights, yellow lights. Meet me under yellow lights, yellow lights, yellow lights. We're burning through these yellow lights, yellow lights, yellow lights. When I'm with you.
I was never really aware of depression and its impacts until fairly recently, when a close friend of mine reached out to me for help, as he was struggling with mental health issues himself. I know that he found it hard to deal with, and he felt like he couldn't really tell anyone with the judgment that comes with having mental health issues as a teenage boy. I'm on my way down to meet Catherine to ask her what it's like coping with a child with depression. Hopefully I'll be able to get some good tips and pointers off her for other parents in a similar situation to herself. I feel like the parents' point of view is like least talked about, and they're the most influential people on a child's life. As a parent, I can imagine you've seen your son pretty low. What's that been like for you?
It's really been horrible. The first time he spoke to me about it, I didn't know how to react. You wanted to try and support him and show that I wasn't upset, but obviously really upset.
Yeah.
It's just heartbreaking to see your son go through something so bad.
Does he tend to like show his emotions around the house at all?
Me and his dad did notice he's quieter, not in a tired way, just in a, I suppose, a moodier way. He's not rude or anything, but he does tend to be more short answers, and we're quite a chatty family, and he's just quieter, if that makes sense, and takes himself off to his room. But to be honest, it's hard to differentiate that between normal teenage boys.
How has it affected you and like everyone else within the family?
Hugely. I think since he first spoke to me about it, it was just between the two of us. Obviously I spoke to his dad about it as well, but I think their relationship's slightly different, that they didn't speak to each other about it. It's affected me because obviously it's heartbreaking to see them going through that, and you feel as a parent, if it's something physical, then you can mend it and make it better, or if with sleep it makes it heal. But with mental issues, it's, you know, that sleep is probably one of the hardest things that they can't actually do, and it doesn't make it better necessarily.
Do you feel like you have to like be careful with some of the conversations that you have, just in case you trigger one of his?
Yeah, because it's hard to know what triggers it. Like I said, from the outside looking in, he's sporty. To me, he's lovely looking. You know, he seems to be okay with everything, but sometimes he's not well, he isn't very good at taking praise or anything. So sometimes I feel when there's something to celebrate or something high, it's not long after that there's quite a quiet moment, a low, and it's almost like he can't process the extreme ups and downs. So that's the bit I find tricky.
What do you think could be done to reduce the mental health issues within teenage boys?
For me, I think more awareness on the media, social media or on the TV or anything, but I just feel proud that he spoke to me initially. With Joe, it's been a slow process. Yes, he's told me, so I feel I've helped, or hopefully I helped that he could tell me straight away. But then from going to the doctor to actually seeing someone, it's been a long wait. And I think if any teenager, male or female, asks for help, then it needs to be there.
Joe? Are you there?
Everyone goes through their ups and downs, and I think that, diagnosed or not, if something comes up, the best thing you can do is just talk, because the problem shared is the problem halved. If you let someone in, you've got someone there to help.
And I see my tears melt in the snow. But I don't wanna cry, I don't wanna cry anymore. I wanna feel alive, I don't even wanna die anymore. I don't wanna die anymore.
I just want to take a moment right now and thank you all so much for giving me a platform to talk about something that mainstream media doesn't want to talk about. Mental health, anxiety, suicide, depression, and so much more that I talk about on this album. From racism, discrimination, sexism, domestic violence, sexual assault, and so much more. I don't give a damn if you're black, white, or any color in between. I don't care if you're Christian, you're Muslim, you're gay, you're straight. I am here to fight for your equality because I believe that we are all born equal, but we are not treated equally, and that is why we must fight. We must fight for the equality of every man, woman, and child, regardless of race, religion, color, creed, and sexual orientation. So I say here and now, if you believe in this message and my message of peace, love, and positivity and equality for all, then I demand that you rise to your feet and applaud not only for yourselves, but for the foundation